Welcome to the latest Out Loud with Steve and Mal. It is that time. It's our cornered celebrity segment, which we just love. It is our special 40th episode. We've got, who is it? He's a CMA Award winner, which I want one of those. He's in the States right now, but from the Netherlands. That confuses every American on the planet. We've got recording artist Mark Blomsteel joining us. Mark, welcome to Out Loud.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
Hey, the first thing I see behind you is we see it's beautiful, it's sunny, all that. I see a Memphis Grizzly logo on you. Are you a basketball fan? Do you have any pants on? I need to ask.
I knew you were going to ask that.
Not a basketball fan, half pants on, not matching, but I just love the shirt.
We love the shirt. It's very nice.
It brings out the colors in his eyes. It's just so cute. It is. So how you go? First of all, I hear an accent right there. And as an American, I go, how can you have an accent and record country music? How did that happen?
Well, actually, the most of the time the accent comes out in stuff like this, or when I'm tired. But when I have a normal conversation during the day, nobody really hears it anymore, it seems. But when I first came here, definitely have the accent very much. And I can hear myself right now. But what happened was, when you sing, it kind of goes away. And there's also the fact that when you record, you can do things over and over and over. So trust me, that is one of the things that the American producers work on. So my THs is usually the big thing. So now, years on, they got a lot better. But in the beginning, it was like torture. It's like, oh, do this word, this line, the THs, focus on your THs. I'm like, go,
I know when Mal asks questions, she sounds like, God rest her soul, the queen. So right now,
I don't sound like the queen.
Did you not sound like the queen? She did.
Royale.
Very proper.
Oh, very proper. So how long have you been in the States for, Mark?
I came here in 2009 to record my first album. And I went back and forth for a while. And then I just decided to stay to kind of build something here. Because the core thing just wasn't working.
So how did you get that opportunity of going there?
Well, I was actually working at MTV back in Amsterdam. And working for another TV station as well. And that owner of that TV station wasn't doing too well with his taxes. And all of a sudden we got raided. And one morning, the office and everything was gone.
Yeah.
Everything was gone. And then everybody needed to look for new jobs. And I was, doing music on the side, kind of just for fun. And building a presence on MySpace.com. And all of a sudden, one of my songs was like blowing up, and I became the #1 singer-songwriter on that platform. Wow. So I got a phone call from a producer in Nashville that I worked with the Beach Boys and all that kind of stuff. And he wanted me to come check out his studio. So that's what I did because I had the time. And never looked back after that, to step into a studio where Dolly Parton recorded at and Jason Aldean, all his platinum albums. I mean, that was a great opportunity for me as a Dutch guy. That doesn't happen a lot.
So hearing that the station got raided, that's very Willie Nelson and Johnny Cash.
It is, isn't it?
It was a thing because, it's you come to an office and all your computers are gone.
Oh my God.
I better be looking around in my studio.
None of your song lyrics on those computers.
No.
Or on your...
But I mean, it's still kind of weird because, some of your personal belongings you leave there because, you go there for work on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
It says on your CV you started writing very young. So you were only 11?
Yes, I started writing songs when I was 11, but I had a very annoying brother that always told me to shut up and all that stuff when I was singing. So I got to hear about all that stuff. And we were, you know how it is in Europe. We go outside and play soccer, and you're kind of a tough guy, and the sensitivity that comes out in writing lyrics is a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely, completely.
get a little bit more confidence to get myself out there.
Yeah. So were you playing guitar at that time or anything, or literally just writing lyrics, or
just writing lyrics mostly.
Okay. And
So,
anyone musical in the family, or?
My parents always listened to a lot of music, so that's where I got it from. And my grandma used to be in a band when she was really young, so it goes that far back.
That's pretty cool. So let's go back to your 11 and you're writing lyrics where you, like a very country song would be, I'm out with my dog and my gun and my truck. Okay, you're 11. So are you writing about being on your back and your dog and the mud?
No, not at all, because in Holland, country music is not popular at all. So I didn't really know a lot about country music. What I did know is that I always loved songs with stories in it. So very story and meaningful lyrics. So, I just wrote about the typical stuff when you're a teenager, and then that started to grow. And my dad used to listen to a little bit of country, like, John Fogerty, CCR, that kind of stuff. So those influences I had. But, to get the call from Nashville, from that producer, that's kind of where the country music started. Keith Urban, Rascal Flatts were big at the time. So I knew those artists and I liked their songs because of the lyrics. But not to say that I was a big country music fan. And I'm still, like, when I listen to the radio and the songs about the dog and about the truck, it doesn't interest me that much.
So between the two, if you're writing, do you write country songs or do you just write songs that turn out to have a country flair to them?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I write songs that maybe, especially musically, have a country flair to it, because I try to mix everything up, kind of out of the box, like a mixture between country, rock, R&B. And I work with some of the best country musicians. My guitar players are on tour right now with Garth Brooks. So, then you get that kind of in your music as it is. So, because they grew up with it. They've been playing it in Nashville for all these years. For me, it's a privilege to play with, those incredible musicians.
So how did it feel for you to be number one with Tennessee?
That was very surreal. First of all, getting a huge billboard with your face on it in Nashville.
I saw that. That was amazing. That's so cool. So cool.
What the hell is going on here? But that was pretty awesome. Very surreal, especially coming from, the other side of the pond. And just driving up on this main road in Nashville and seeing yourself, like, oh, okay, that's cool. I kind of arrived.
That's so cool. It's brilliant. So do you find now when you walk around Nashville, people are recognizing you, you kind of get treated like the celebrity?
You know what it is? Not really. I used to have that back in the day because Nashville used to be a lot smaller. Right now, it's all touristy and very busy. They grew a lot. It's like little Los Angeles now with traffic and stuff as well. But when I first came there, they gave me a nickname, Dutch Boy. So in the local scenes when we were playing like writers' nights or even karaoke, everybody knew me as the Dutch Boy. So, and now there's like other Dutch people that come to Nashville to record and make music. And it's weird phenomenon because the last 10 years, it skyrocketed. And it's kind of annoying because most of the actual residents of Nashville don't even want to go downtown anymore.
Yeah.
Nashville's so different. I'm an Angelino, so I'm from Los Angeles. So we call Nashville is little LA without the tan. That's what we call it.
Yeah, there you go.
Because that's where all the artists are moving to. It's a beautiful part of America.
I love that.
It's got a very different,
October, didn't we?
Yeah, it's only got 3 seasons. It's a beautiful place to be. Even where you are now, that's a beautiful part of America. So you picked a great place to be, great musicians talking to. Even, my buddy from Hall & Oates, John Oates, lives out there, and he has a little country background as well. So it's a great place to be. And even winning the CMAs and everything else, talk about a whirlwind you've been through in the past 10 years.
Yeah, I usually, I took my music back home to Holland because that was kind of my market. And that's where what I kind of wanted, the kind of the recognition over there. And then it kind of turned itself around. I won the 5 Dutch CMA Awards over there. And I did the touring in all the big festivals. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, like, well, I live here now in the United States. So why am I taking my stuff over there? and not start something here. So the last few years we started, with a band in Detroit, actually, because I didn't want Nashville musicians in my band because they get picked out everywhere. It's like you have, and then they keep leaving. So we started out in Detroit, and that actually was a great thing to do. And from there on out, we've just been, going and going and going until the stupid pandemic hit.
Yeah. So reaching out to Detroit, did the musicians have a little R&B feel to them when you listen to them?
More of a jazz thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of jazz and metal in Detroit, and there's actually a pretty decent country scene as well. So there's a mixture of just great musicians, and again, that's my music. It's a mixture of all kinds of stuff.
Now, Melissa also writes some music and stuff. And between the two of you, when you guys this is actually a question for both of you. Where are you both really comfortable in? Are you comfortable writing the lyrics? Are you comfortable on the road? Are you more comfortable in the studio? Because I would think both of you would have, something very much in common.
For me, it's creating in the studio that is my absolute favorite thing.
I'd say the same, 100%. It's that it comes to life.
That's funny because a lot of people would say on stage. I don't feel that way. I like to be in my comfort zone and creating new stuff, like making new babies, basically, to go out and for the world to see and to hear. I love that.
I think that whole process of going into that studio environment as well, because of the transitions you can go through in a day of all the different ideas that you can put down, then you can share them at some point. Even if you're going to, some people think you go into the studio, you concentrate on one song, but it might be you're doing lots of demos for 3 or 4 ideas, picking the best one. Just depends how it kind of develops. But I think exactly the same as what Mark just said, to be in that creative environment, that's my safe space. That's where I know I can be who I want to be, what I want to do. And then when I come out of that environment, same as I'm sure yourself, it's kind of getting on that stage with that band and kind of making that performance. So that's when it's shared, and then you can't wait to get back in there again to create and keep going. It's that kind of cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, you feel like you can do anything in a studio, especially the ones that I work with in Nashville, and then the musicians I work with. It's just one of those things. Like, I had a day in the studio where I was doing my pre-production, and the next room, in the main room where I was going to record next day, was Alabama and Jason Aldean recording Tennessee River. Wow. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. So you kind of feed off each other, and that gives you kind of the magic to be like even better on your studio day next day. Yeah. So
now, is there an instrument that spoke to you early on? If we're going back to 11 years old and where you are now, is it you grab the guitar first? Do you start with lyrics first? What's your process?
For me, it was lyrics. I tried playing guitar, but I had to struggle that I was struggling playing and singing at the same time.
Okay.
So, I mean, and it's like I said, I had a crazy journey because I never thought I was really talented. I just didn't have confidence. And then I met this producer from London, actually, that worked with the Spice Girls and Boyzone. I'm sure Melissa will know who they are.
Absolutely. Wow.
But, he was the one that was like, you got it, and we're going to make an album, and this is going to be a banger. Yeah. I don't know. I still don't know exactly what that meant, but a banger. He kept repeating.
A banger. That's a hit. We're going to make a banger. Yeah. Absolutely. It's not a sausage. It's a banger.
Yeah. And he worked on a first song that I wrote, and he passed away after mixing that. I had a massive heart attack, and I was like, well, this was my chance, And you never know in the music industry. You don't think you never get second chances.
Sure.
But I was lucky enough to get them, and you got to keep going and keep dreaming. And a lot of people give up on their dreams, and I guess stubborn. I kept going.
So Mark, do you play any instrument at all, or do you actually hear the composition in your head? Do you kind of get the lyrics and the melody and everything, and then you start laying down vocals? How do you kind of process your songwriting?
Yeah. I kind of hear the melody in my head, start writing the lyrics, and then I tell musicians like, hey, this is kind of how I want it. And if you're a good musician, you kind of understand it. And
this is great.
Don't get it up.
I love this because so many people that I meet, I had exactly the same process, and they go, "But you must play something. How do you do that?" It's something within. So you go in like I do, and you boss everyone around. You're playing this on drums. You're doing this on guitars. I love it.
Yeah,
Most people I talk to say, I've been playing this for these chords, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you're a musician as well. I can't do that. I literally kind of and kind of singing and doing that thing. So, seriously, and the London connection. I like this. I'm happy with this interview.
Kind of funny because all the stuff, the technical stuff that they mentioned to me, and I'm like in the studio, I'm trying to be like, okay, yeah, that's right, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I love that.
So,
it's interesting that you had said that you didn't feel that you had talent or whatever. Mal brings that up to me all the time. Steve, you have no talent at all. Like I could play the spoons and the kazoo. That's about all I got.
Yeah, he's trying to get in a band still, so just be careful, Mark. Every week I warn all of us.
We could be in a boy band, Mark. You were talking about Spice Girls. We could be the Spice Men, right there.
There you go.
Now we could be the Spice Men. All we needed like 3 or 4 more guys to be in the background. Because Mark, I want to be up front. I'm asking right now. I got it in, Liz. I got the question in. You did.
Yeah, you did get the question in, but I don't think Mark's going to join a band with you, so don't hold out. It's not happening.
I'm always interested in doing new things.
See, I got him in right there. Our new album could be No Pants Control. Yeah, No Pants Control. Right there. We come out in little like tennis shorts or something like that.
Actually, that's a really good name for the tour. No Pants Control, with kind of the Chili Boys or whatever. That's good. Yeah, I can see it. I'll be the agent. Yeah.
So who'd you listen to when you were a kid, Mark? I mean, you said you have an older brother. Are you in a big family? Are you just as annoying as he is? Because I think maybe you
No, we didn't have a big family at all. It was just me and him. And, he's 2 years older than me. He just really different taste in music than I did. I mean, I started listening to anything top 40 when I was young. And he wasn't really interested in music, but then he started getting interested. But he had a very obscure type of, taste. I mean, again, Melissa, a band probably, Garbage.
Oh, Shirley, baby. Oh,
yeah. We love her.
That was very obscure at the time. And right now, I really appreciate that band Garbage. But he was a huge fan, and he was in love with the girl, and I couldn't see that. I was like, she's like, looks like a monster.
Yeah.
And I was actually, to be completely honest, listening to top 40 stuff, and even like the Backstreet Boys and stuff. Because again, when you listen to lyrics of those boy bands, that stuff is good. They have stories, great love songs, and I took to that. I really did.
Have you seen Garbage live? That is,
I have a DVD and I still have to watch it, but I do have their vinyl record with their greatest hits on it.
One of the greatest concerts I ever saw. I described it as being on a train. It just her presence, which is what I love to listen to. That's why I go to live shows. I want to see the front person, to, capture the audience. So I think that's who Shirley and Garbage is. For talking about concerts, who was your favorite concert? Who is your favorite performance artist that you've gone and seen?
I have to say Bryan Adams.
Oh.
And for the reason, you go to a Bryan Adams concert, it's always quality, and everybody knows all his songs. So you just get a vibe where everybody sings along, and it's he's just always quality. There's never a day where he doesn't give like 1,000%. And if you see him online, he tours like year round every year. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I never see the guy anywhere but on the road. I have no idea how he does it.
Well, with that, he actually during COVID, he was pushing out acoustic versions of his songs on social media. Is that something that you've done too?
We did some kind of those lockdown type of sessions where all the musicians were in their home environment and stuff like that. I mean, that was pretty cool. But I mean, it's always different. And here in the US and in Nashville, we kind of kept going in a way. I recorded a new album during the pandemic, and it was like 2 years of, okay, it's nice and quiet on the streets, but we just try to keep going. Till I got COVID myself, and that really was like 2 years into the whole thing. And I got it bad. I went into hospital for 6 days and had to recover for 6 months. So that's kind of where it stopped for me.
Jeez.
Wow. Did that change your perspective on the world at all, having COVID?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a scary time. That was very scary. I mean, you think about, you're in the US, you're in a hospital. This is, country that has everything. But they basically let you I felt like they let me rot in there. They didn't give me any change of clothes for a whole week. Wasn't able to shower. I just felt disgusting. And the whole thing was just weird to me. The whole experience.
Gosh.
I'm just glad I made it out alive. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. That must have been such a life-changing thing to come out and see things when you're kind of healing, especially 6 months to recover. Well, what were your side effects?
Well, I had the lung problems in the beginning. That's why it took me. I went into the hospital going to because I had the oxygen was low, and I went to ER, and they said to me, "Oh, you're fine." So basically, their oxygen meter was broken. They sent me back home for another 5 days until I measured it again at home, and I was like, "This is getting ridiculous." So I went back, and they took me right away, and that was there for 6 days. And after the day 5, they wanted me to stand up in the hospital, and I stood up out of the bed, and I had a heart rate of 150.
Wow!
Just standing up.
Wow!
So and they're okay. I don't think we're going to get released anytime soon. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you think it's all about your lungs, and then you have that.
Sure.
So I mean, so I had that problem with the heart rate going up, like when I was doing nothing for like months and months and months, and I was like, can I ever sing again? I lost my falsetto in my voice completely because of COVID for I think 5 months, and after 6 months, I was able to rehearse and perform again.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
I mean, that was scary.
So did you do much writing in that time in your recovery? Did you find that you were kind of like penciling many kind of songs?
I have to say that actually I wasn't. No,
Not right place. It was that.
I was just focused on getting my vocals recovered and recover myself mentally as well, because it was just such a tough time, and it was so unexpected.
Yeah.
It was
for me. Changed? Do you think your voice has changed since that?
Yeah, it got stronger.
Oh, right.
Okay. Easy, but it got stronger than what it was before.
Wow.
Yeah.
A little positive out of that. So that's good.
Got a little rest, and then you start out, it's a muscle, of course. So you give it a rest, and then all of a sudden you train it back up again.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could hear it on your new track, Shake. I want to make sure that we talk about that, because
what a song.
All day we have been shaking our money makers, and yet I haven't made any money. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's like, you don't hear my vocal ability in that song, but
it's the best earworm, Mark. My goodness, like shake what your mama gave you. Come on.
And it's because my tour manager and my bass player and I went on a writing trip to Nashville, and we were like, we need something different. And my tour manager was like, we need a balls out song.
True.
And we were like, shake what your mama gave you, and then we started writing it, and actually did nothing with it. It was sitting on the shelf for like, I think 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
Till last year, there was a couple of people that came up to us and say, hey, we want to sell T-shirts. And we had this phrase that, it's a boating type of thing. And they said, we have this phrase, midnight drunk at 5 p.m. Can you write a
lyric? Do you know what? That was spooky you said that. I've written that down on my notes, that lyric. That was the one that jumped out. I was going to ask you.
It was a brilliant phrase, and they want to sell T-shirts and all kinds of merch with that. And they were like, can you write a song? And I was like, I'll give it a go, So I was trying to write a song, and all of a sudden it dawned on me. It's like, shake what your mama gave me, midnight drunk at 5 p.m. I can put that line in that song.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So I went back to the song that we wrote, years before. I put that line, and within 2 weeks we were recording it in Nashville.
Amazing.
Oh.
So, Mark, have them t-shirts been made into merchandise? Because if so, I want one, because Steve always says that I'm buzzed because I'm English and that I drink lots of alcohol. So I do need one sent to the UK.
I think they're making them right now because we have some shows coming up for the summer, and we have a release party in the Detroit area, which is like a big boating community. And I think it's July 15 is when we should have that merch available for the first time. Yep.
There we go. So we've got the release of your brand new track. I know the listeners and viewers are going to wonder, are you going to shake what your mama gave you right now?
Hey, it's very early. You remember that. I still don't know if I'm actually wearing pants or not.
He just turned red. His face is red, Melissa. It's red.
But Steve got up at 6 a.m. and he's been shaking. This is a concern.
I know.
Oh, my God. That is just...
Tour dates
ahead? You have tour dates ahead already all planned out?
Yep, for sure.
So where are our listeners find all your information on social media?
They can go to my website, markblomsteel.com. They can, find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not as good at on TikTok yet. I haven't figured that quite out yet, but I'm on there.
We're the same. It's fine. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. I mean, the most important thing is, hit that follow button on Spotify because people are big on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Yep. So if you hit to Los Angeles or Chicago, you and I will meet up. So we'll do something live from the show. How about that?
Oh, great.
Now, I do want to hear you sing something for us right now, a little a cappella. Can I talk you into that?
That time in the morning, you're so mean. It needs to warm up.
Well, it's one of those things. I don't know how the sound is coming through, but I can.
Or the lyric when you were 11. Do you remember that song?
I do. I remember I wrote one of my first songs I wrote was a song called Time, but for the life of me, I don't remember how it goes.
It was a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago, unfortunately. You're showing my age here, but
Yeah, that sounds like a Hootie and the Blowfish song, Time. Classic right there. So
the Hootie and the Blowfish song, Time. I remember that song as well.
Yeah, that was a great album. And right there, if you think of Hootie and the Blowfish, they went from a pop group and now Darius being in country. So that's where I see you. That's the connection, at least that I see.
That is a very interesting thing that he did. And it worked out quite well, and I was kind of into the alternative songs and actually get the chance to do like a 4th of July festival like up in the Upper Peninsula month. And I'm going to be able to do some of that alternative stuff, acoustic, which is, I've never done that before. So I'm very excited about all that.
And acoustic set is the best to have. So if you ask me.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of artists, including myself, that have kind of come over to Nashville or are trying to get to Nashville. We had somebody recently, Thomas Kavanagh, who was on the show, who is a UK artist who has had a single out there recently. What advice would you give to anyone that is touching down in Nashville to kind of, what advice is kind of the best thing as a new musician that's coming from different areas? You've been there, you've got the t-shirt, you've done the journey. What do you think is your kind of key to the success of kind of getting that exposure or trying to get a break?
Try not to get screwed over.
Okay.
Very important because there's so many people out there, and there's different types of quality. There's a lot of studios out there that will record a song with you, and it's pricey, but not like it's right there in the middle. And that's the danger. They can get some good musicians, but they don't spend the time on your product that you need.
Right. Okay.
And then people think that they're radio ready, but actually you're demo ready. And I got the chance to, with the professionals in the big studios, and that's kind of where you want to go to, but it's very, very expensive.
Mark, I want to thank you for being on our Cornered Celebrity segment on Out Loud. Everybody, go follow him. Let him know that you heard him here right on this show. Mark, later this summer, I want to invite you to come back, and I'm sure Melissa will agree with me that
absolutely
have you come back. I mean, I can't wait to see you live. I think it's going to just be lit. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I was actually going to be thinking about singing now, but if you're ready to go,
if you want to shake that in, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. Let's sing you out. That would be brilliant. Let's listen to something before we jump off.
I always like to warm up with the songs that are impossible to sing.
Okay.
Which is, you remember that song "Take on Me" by Aha?
I do love that track.
That's the song that's impossible. So I can make a complete fool of myself if I start singing that right now.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm here for it, okay?
Okay. All right.
Go. Talking away, and I don't know what I'm to say. I'll say it anyway. Today's another day to find you. You're shying away. I'll be coming for you anyway. Take on me. Take me. See, then you go higher and higher and higher.
Love it.
Wow.
I thought Steve was going to join you on the BVs then. Well done.
Oh,
Bravo. Bravo for morning singing. Great
our
voice.
new single.
Wow, that was awesome. Mark,
Love
it was
that.
an absolute
Love
pleasure.
that.
Thanks for
And
doing that. I wasn't sure you were going to do that or not.
He went really quiet then. He was in awe of you then, Mark. Did you see
I'm
that?
not-
His face just went like that.
Well, there you go. You know, it's
There you
always
go.
right.
Well, if you see an out loud release where I'm doing background vocals, then you'll know it came from.
You're going to have to step up in the boy band because he's definitely going to be at the front, Steve. Definitely.
Just push
my
me
voice-
back, further back. All the way back.
Back.
Steve, we need you in like Idaho. That's close enough. That's close.
Keep going. Keep going.
All right, Mark. Thanks for joining us. Everybody,
Yeah, that was
have a
fun.
week on Out Loud and go follow Mark wherever he is. Go see him live. It will be worth the price of every ticket.
All the best for the new single, Shake.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I had for everybody to hear it.
Good luck.
Thank you.